It is Sunday, July 5th, 2026, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this time of year is always very sacred to me. This day especially because it's my sobriety birthday, or what I often call my rebirth day. And yeah, so see if I can show you. This is my chip that I bought myself. It's 40 years in Roman numerals. And I like what it says on the back. In the garden of life, like the sunflower seeks the sun, we rise in sobriety, embracing the light and blooming anew each dawn. And that's what I've been doing for the last 40 years, one day at a time. And I waffled back and forth about just going live on Facebook, but there's a part of me that I prefer to just do a video and post it. That way nobody can make comments, because honestly, most of the time when I do something, I don't really care what people think. I'm just doing me. I did manage to put makeup on today. That's a new one. But most of the time I don't even mess with that. Anyways, I sat and I wrote something today. And I figured I would do my best to read it to you guys, because it's my thoughts about today. And so, humor me. It's just me. 40 years sober. And this was written today, July 5th, 2026, by me. Anyways, here we go. My sobriety date is July 5th, 1986. So today I am 40 years sober. Sorry if I'm not looking straight at you. I'm trying to read on a paper across, and I'm blind. So today I'm 40 years sober. For that, I'm truly grateful. I looked up the spiritual symbolism of the number 40. It symbolizes divine completion that occurs right before a major shift or a new beginning in one's life. It also symbolizes spiritual preparation. For example, Moses spent 40 days on Mount Sinai with God, and he spent 40 days wandering in the desert too. Boy, haven't I been there. Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness before he began his ministry. That's when he was tempted and passed the test. I don't know if I would have. Now, I'm in no way saying that I am anyway as good as Moses, Jesus, Mother Teresa, or any other beloved spiritual person. I do the best I can every day. But some days, the best I can do is flip off everybody and cuss in traffic. And it's true, ask my kids. I've been sitting here thinking about my life, sober from day one till today. There's numerous people in AA all over the country who have no idea how much they touched my heart and kept me sober with the words they said in a meeting. Then there are guardian angels God sent me, like Harold Inman, George Gibbs, and Lewis McHenry, to name a few. Of course, I would never leave out the women who sponsored me and walked me through my sobriety for various seasons. There was Joe Disher, Franny, Carla Mae, Beverly B., Bonnie M., Armida, Gail Langston, and more. These people and many more taught me how to live sober and loved me in spite of my warts and scars. Some of them are gone to heaven now, but they know the depth of love I had and still have for them. When I got sober, I was 23 years old. I was a single mother with 2 little children, ages 4 and 2. And I had a demeanor that said I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Yet, hidden behind that armor was a scared to death little girl. I would rather you see my rage than see my vulnerability. Yet God brought people into my life who weren't afraid to bulldoze through my armor. They helped me out of the pit I had put myself in with alcoholism and addiction. They just loved me where I was at unconditionally. I would love to tell you that once you get sober, life is perfect and wonderful and everything works out fine, but that would be a lie. I worked the 12 steps until the 12 steps worked me. If you happen to be in recovery and do not understand what I mean, keep working the 12 steps until you do. I went to meetings every single day for the first 2 or 3 years, not intentionally, but because I didn't know what else to do to keep from wanting to drink. The one thing I was convinced of, and still am today, is if I drink, I'm going to die. So I went to meetings all the time. Somewhere in that time, the desire to drink was removed from me. It just vanished. I think that is when I first began to learn about the law of reciprocity. By that I mean what you sow in, you get back. I sowed seeds big time into my recovery, and I got back sobriety. Sitting here, I'm also reminded of a particular person and a group of people that I will always treasure in my heart dearly for teaching me about the importance of living life on my own terms and especially of gratitude. You know who you are, and I love you very much. Now I'm going to list some things that I'm grateful for or have learned along the way since I got sober. So if you're still with me, sit back and listen. Maybe some of it will help you too. I am so grateful for God's unconditional love for me. He loved me just as much when I was face down in my puke drunk as he does 40 years sober. His love, mercy, and grace are about him, not about how good or put together I am. It is never ending, and it's up to me to let it in. It's always there, but I have to let it in. I have to be willing to receive it. I am so grateful for my dad. He supported me and encouraged me in my early sobriety. He took care of my children while I was in treatment. We had a rough start, but a massively beautiful finish. He is in heaven now, and I miss him deeply. I am so grateful for the love he gave me and the lessons he taught me, some of which I'm still learning. I am grateful for my mom. She got pregnant with me before her and my dad were married. At that time, in the world they lived in, a woman was just supposed to be shoved off into a Salvation Army pregnancy home and the child adopted out. But my mom chose to give birth to me, and my dad married her, and they raised me. They loved me the best they could. It does not go unnoticed, the trials that my mom went through, be it cancer, devastating loss during COVID, and other things that I won't name here. She taught me how to stay strong and in the face of devastation. She has taught me how to never give up on God. I'm so incredibly grateful for my son Cedric. He is the only one that truly remembers me, how I was before I got sober. Yet he still loves me today. He's my oldest child and pretty much raised me. He has grown up into such an incredible man and an awesome father to a daughter and 2 grandsons. And 2 of my grandsons, he has 2 sons. My daughter Alicia turned 2 when I was in treatment for alcoholism. I don't think that she really remembers what I was like before I got sober. She's my youngest, my baby. She has grown into such a beautiful woman. I watch her move through life, and I often wish I could be as graceful as she is. I'm not talking about walking gracefully, because she's like me. Sometimes she's a bull in a china closet. What I'm talking about is the grace that she exudes when she's helping others. She is going to graduate from nursing school soon, and I am so proud of her. It has not come easy for her, but she has met every obstacle with fierce determination to keep going. She is mother to 3 girls who are now adults, and she has raised them to be beautiful young women in every way. And I'm proud of them too. Let's see if I can get the count right on this. I have 4 granddaughters and 2 grandsons on this side of heaven. I also have a granddaughter Zoe and a grandson Mikey, who were born but are now in heaven. I had a miscarriage before I had my son. My daughter and daughter-in-law had miscarriages. I would be wrong not to mention them because I know they are in heaven. I choose to believe that my child and grandchildren in heaven are there because this earth was just too hard for them. I don't care if it makes sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to me. Anyways, I'm so grateful for my grandchildren. When you become a grandparent, the view you have of the world changes deeply. You understand that you are here to guide them, and it's a sacred gift. I often think that if I had not been sober, I would have missed out on something so beautiful. We often think about what it is like when our children grow up and we become grandparents. I know I did. But the thought never crossed my mind about becoming a great-grandparent. I don't know why, it just never did. A little over 2 years ago, I became a great-grandmother to 3 beautiful great-granddaughters. Sophia and Lakeland are twins, and Juju. I thought my worldview changed when I became a grandmother, but when I became a great-grandmother, my mind was blown. I now understand how sacred it is to be a great-grandparent. I often think about the things they are going to see and experience that I've never thought of. I haven't even never heard of them. I think about my Grandma Mary and all the things that I have seen and done that she never heard of. And my great-grandchildren are going to do things and have experiences that I can't even imagine. I just hope I give them the kind of tools and experience that my grandparents gave me so that they do good in the world. I'm also very grateful that I am still young enough that I can be a part of their lives. I hope they remember me. I do not have favorite grandchildren, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren. I love them all the same. I always jokingly say that whoever I am with is my favorite at that time. I truly feel that way. Each of them bring their own unique light and energy to my life. I am so grateful for them. I have spent the majority of my life trying to figure out what my purpose is and what I'm supposed to do. Most of the time, I've felt like I am wandering aimlessly in a dimly lit room trying to figure out what that is. I felt like I was late to the party or something. My head would tell me, "You're over 60, you should have already had it figured out by now." But for whatever reason, I didn't know till now. I remember when my granddaughter Destiny got pregnant, I knew she was going to have twins. I just knew it. I even told her that. I heard my dad's voice in my heart tell me, "Oh my God, Andrea, their spirits are so beautiful. I can't wait for you to meet them." I can still hear his voice in my heart today. Of course, when they were born, I was head over heels in love with them, just like I was with Juju. However, little did I know the spark that was going to be ignited in my heart that led me to my true purpose. That spark was and still is my great-granddaughter, Sophia. Sophia has epilepsy, autism, and other neurodivergent issues that she deals with every day. We have never had a child with special needs in our family, so this has been uncharted territory. We have had to learn about it fast. Little did I know I was to have a vision and be shown exactly what my purpose is. I can't explain the details right now, but very soon everyone will know. I've also seen visions of those it will help. I am so grateful and so humbled that God would choose me to bring about this dream. I can't wait for everyone to know. It will be soon. If you told me day one sober that I would be saying this, I would have told you were crazy. But I am so grateful for those who have left my life, be it through divorce or ended friendships. Did it hurt? Hell yes, it hurt. Did I relapse? Hell no. Nobody is worth my sobriety. The lessons I learned, though, about boundaries, valuing myself, and deserving better are invaluable to me. So, in a strange way, I will be forever grateful to them for those lessons. When I was about 5 years sober, I had a near-death experience. One night I woke up running a horribly high fever. I made my way to the couch and I could not get back up because I was too weak. I was so weak that I couldn't even yell to get anybody to wake up. I laid there in the dark, scared to death, with tears running down my face. And I couldn't even wipe my nose, I was so weak. I just laid there in the dark, scared to death. And I started praying, "God, please help me." I remember being taken out of my body into a place with a beautiful, indescribable white light. I don't even have the words to describe it to this day, but I can see it clearly in my heart. Then my higher power, Jesus, showed up. I remember feeling lighter and freer than I ever had in my life. I knew I was home. He told me I had to go back. I felt this deep sadness because I didn't want to leave, yet I knew I had to go back to raise my children and do other things that God had for me to do. That I was back in my body laying on the couch, and the Lord was standing over me. He started praying for me, and everywhere he laid his hands on me, golden light shot through my body and out the bottom of my feet. And he would say, "Receive my healing," over and over. I woke up sometime the next day, and I was completely well. I walked around for several days in this heavy body that we have on this side of heaven. I often refer to it as a meat suit. I didn't tell anyone what had happened, yet almost everyone I encountered would say, "Wow, you look good. Did you do something with your hair? What skincare routine do you use? You absolutely glow." I would just smile. I would like to tell you that all my problems went away and I became a millionaire or something. Not hardly. I still had numerous spiritual lessons to learn. In fact, I'm still learning them today. But I know where home is. And I know who my higher power is. Most importantly, today with 40 years sober, I know what my purpose is. I'll have a lot more work to do before I go home. When I was 1 year sober, I had surgery on my left ear. I had found out that I was slowly losing my hearing and that this surgery would restore it. A 2-hour surgery turned into a 12-hour surgery because my eardrum fell apart and they had to rebuild it. The result was that I lost even more hearing. I was in college and had done this during the spring break. Here I was trying to raise 2 kids on my own and get through school. I could only walk a few steps before I would black out, literally black out. The doctors said it would get better over time. I was okay as long as I was not moving. A friend stationed folding chairs all around my house and out to my car. And I would go from one chair to the next. A fellow student would meet me at my car and help me get into class. Others would help me in and out of meetings. I never missed a class or meeting. I remember I just kept pushing myself. The doctors put hearing aids in my ears and sent me on my way. One hidden gift I had, and still have today, was that I can read lips. I had somehow taught myself to do it when I started losing my hearing years before. I have learned to live with hearing loss on my own. I eventually went back to college in my 40s to get my Bachelor in Fine Art and eventually my MBA. I graduated summa cum laude and maintained a 4.0 GPA throughout my education, in spite of my hearing loss. When I was doing my bachelor's, I had to learn a foreign language, and my advisor kept trying to tell me to take ASL, but I was determined to learn Spanish. And the fact that she didn't think I could do it made me dig my heels in even deeper. I learned Spanish, and I made a 4.0. Tell me I can't, I will. That's how it was. And I'm not fluent in it anymore, but I did it. I tell you all this not to tell you that I'm all great, but I was a high school dropout. I was the one that everybody said wouldn't amount to shit. And, you know, I've believed it for a while. But once I got sober and started working on me, I stopped believing the lies. I'm so grateful to God for giving me the gift of fierce determination. It kept me pushing through what others thought were insurmountable odds. All things are possible with God. A few years ago, my dad got sick with an infection in his neck. He had had neck surgery years earlier and had rods and stuff, hardware in his neck, and he got an infection in it. This was at the tail end of COVID. I was able to take care of him. I'm grateful for that. I would work all day and I would go to the rehab he was in and eat dinner with him in the evenings and sit with him. At one point, he got COVID and I was not allowed to see him. So I contacted the director of the rehab and arranged for me to be able to sit outside his window and talk on the phone with him. It was wintertime. It rained and snowed most days. I would sit in a lawn chair outside his window with an umbrella, bundled up in my coat and mittens, and talk to him. I hung signs on his windows so that he could see them. I had my grandkids draw pictures, and we all wrote cards and stuff, and I taped them to the windows. And I just wanted to encourage him because I didn't want him to think we forgot him. When we got the all clear from COVID, I started going back inside. The after effects of COVID destroyed his body. He could barely speak. I stayed every evening with him. The last thing we ate together was Oreos and milk. When he could not talk anymore, all he wanted to do was hold hands with me and watch TV. I was there when he took his last breath, and I led him home. The miracle in all of this is that I never thought once to take a drink. Even after he died, I didn't even think about it. I am so grateful that God blessed me with the dad I had. I am even more grateful that I was sober and able to lead him home to the arms of God. I am so grateful that my grandchildren and great-grandchildren do not know the old drunken and drugged monster I was. All they know is a sober and sometimes stubborn and crazy grandma. I hope they know how proud I am of them and how very much I love them. I had gotten to the point at the end of drugging and drinking that I truly thought my children would be better off if I was dead. I tried many times to end it all, but God didn't let me. When I finally went to treatment and got sober, I hated myself. The only reason I could think to stay sober in early sobriety was because I loved my children. For a long time, my love for them is what kept me sober until I could love myself. I know I have not been perfect. And the three of us went through some hard times. But I hope they always knew and still know today the depth of love I have for them. They are the greatest gifts and the most treasured jewels in my life. I am so grateful God did not let me die, and I was kept and has kept us going together no matter what life has thrown at us. In spite of all the ups and downs, I would have missed out on a beautiful life. And it all started with you, Cedric and Alicia. I will always love you more. If you have lasted this long with me, thanks for listening. Now on to 41. Woohoo!